She goes supposedly to sleep, and he watches his favorite show, vice versa.
Yeah, so she might not be hearing the sound because he might have a headset on, but the lights are on. Basically.
So ultimately, let's do this. The sun or the light, if you see, your skin sees the light, it thinks that it's a morning. Anytime there's a morning, your body wants to release a stress hormones, which is a cortisol, so your cortisol levels go up. If your cortisol level go up and you have a melatonin also came up, so you have like an imbalance. You're kind of like groggy, you're neither sleeping nor you're awake, you don't get a good quality of sleep, therefore you don't recover.
You are what I technically call you're a mess.
You're a mess. and that is a medical term.
Yeah, you're a mess.
You're a mess. Yeah. So ultimately, a light. What else? Let's say if you have some stimulants.
Oh, if you have stimulants like, you know, let's not get too technical, coffee. You know, there's a certain time of the day that you should quit drinking coffee because it's going to have a half-life of, I think it's 4 to 6 hours. So whatever you drink at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, around 6 o'clock in the afternoon, you're going to have half of that. And around, you know, 9 o'clock in the afternoon,
caffeine and the cortisol
in the system.
Okay.
Yeah, the reaction of the cortisol response. So every few hours, it will cut down in half, but it doesn't take much to keep us awake or to maintain the cortisol levels up. So
ultimately, as the stimulant creates a stress response. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think in the next episode we're going to talk about stress response. So stick around for the next episode to understand what exactly the stress response does. But when you drink a stimulant, you get a stress response. After stress response, you get a cortisol release into your bloodstream, and that can possibly interrupt the sleep.
For sure.
So you want to be very careful with stimulants like high sugar beverages, or just sugar in general, caffeine, alcohol, obviously, because it's the simplest form of sugar.
Absolutely.
What else? You got to be careful with the light.
Well, it's stimulants. Sometimes they're sugar-free. I mean, like how many people don't drink in the afternoons? They drink like Red Bull, you know, sugar-free. Well, there you go. It doesn't have sugar, but it has a stimulant.
Exactly. So as long as it has a stimulant, be careful with it. Another thing is very important, I think, is a possibility of some sort of electromagnetic field around your bed. Yeah? So you would want to, you can get one of those EMG meters, that's what they call it, EMG meters, so you can see if there's an electromagnetic field around the place where you sleep. It'll set you back $100, $200 if you want to invest.
Yeah, some people are very sensitive, even to the light circuits running through the walls. So.
Yeah, I've seen clients that they say they have like a back circuit in the back somewhere, in the wall, they were not aware, after they checked, they removed it and started sleeping better. So ultimately, you want to get rid of all kinds of different things from your
electrical alarm plugs. Don't keep your phones next to you, especially if the phones are like Androids, like
those electrical alarm lights. The alarm clock with the bright lights.
Yeah. Well, you have to cover the lights. We spoke about that. The darker the room, the better.
So air conditioning, if you have, sometimes numbers blinking. You know, all kinds of different little, you know, modern things that we have. We should try to keep them covered as much as possible.
So ideally, nothing plugged into the bedroom.
It's free, guys. It costs you nothing, truly. You know, you just go out there, you take care of the room. Try to put shades dark. Yeah. The light outside, if it's not a moonlight, if it's electrical light, it will affect you. Moonlight generally doesn't affect you as much.
I'm not sure about that, but I wouldn't doubt it either. The darker, the better. So you want to put like blackouts on your windows, so there's no the lights from. Sometimes if you live in a lower floor, you know, the lights from cars passing by. So
sleep, please. Please, sleep.
Is the most important thing that you can do. When we talked about earlier about energy gain, that's the one thing that we can do along with the food. So they're just as important, because you can eat the best food. If you don't sleep, you're going to be a mess.
They use sleep deprivation as torture.
Yes.
Okay? Don't torture yourself. Love yourself. Put yourself to bed. Make sure it's comfortable. It's cozy. It's warm. It's nice. And you feel really like at home. Your bedroom is supposed to be your bedroom. That's your castle. This is where you rest.
It's like a chamber of recuperation.
Yeah, you can worship your bedroom.
Besides
having sex there, sleep.
That's it.
Another thing I want to cover with I had a bunch of clients that have to work at night. Yeah. So what would you recommend if they work at night?
Well, they're gonna sleep during the day, so once again, minimize the light, the light exposure in the bedroom, so there's no light whatsoever. And I mean, it's tough for those people.
It is tough.
My brother did it for many years, and I saw how taxing it was on him. And he actually, I believe, he worked at night for about 20-something years.
My advice will be, if you work nights, make sure you get paid good money.
Yeah, a lot more.
Do not take a job for the same money to work at nights, because ultimately it will cost you something down the line.
Yeah.
Now, the way you can do things perfect, I think, it's to shift. Think of it like this. When you come home at the daytime, make sure that it's dark in your apartment.
Yeah, you can start dimming the lights.
Start dimming the lights, doing everything like you would do during the evening. Make sure it's a pitch dark.
Yeah.
Go to sleep. Another cool thing that I recommended once to my client is to get the alarm that wakes you up with a light.
Yes, I never used one, but I heard that they're really good for
I had one of my clients, and I'm sure you know who you are because you're watching.
Yeah.
You used it and you loved it.
Yeah.
I think it's an excellent thing. It slowly wakes you up like a sunrise. I think it's called like a sunrise alarm.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Something like that.
What else we want to cover?
Well, there's certain things that normal people, and the people that have to work at night, which we call them abnormal in a sense because they're kind of disrupting the function of the body, is good, for example, to set yourself to sleep, like we said, use candles and use, lights that are very dim, with a dimmer, of course. Taking a hot bath, in the evening is a good way to relax the body, not to mention that when the body is nice and clean, it actually rests better. Because
stretching?
You can do some stretching. It feels very gentle.
How about a spinning class?
Yeah, spinning class is the perfect thing to do to go to sleep, sure. You'll be like... sometimes you're using essential oils like lavender and a couple other different kinds that are very soothing, for the lack of a better perspective. And they will help you to actually get to sleep better.
I think it's all great ideas. Yeah. I played soccer for years, I still play, and I remember after that, night games, 7 or 8 p.m.
You can sleep.
There's no way on this earth you're going to sleep.
Yeah.
Now, if you go to sleep after that, it generally are really shitty quality sleep.
Yeah, it will be poor quality sleep, and you'll find yourself waking up every couple of hours.
Yeah.
And you'll realize that the next morning, you probably feel just as tired as the night before. So.
Now, if you have to do things like this, make sure you're just aware of it first. Try not to do it as much as possible. But the nights that you have to do it, do it. Just know that ahead of you is a lot of recuperation. Make sure that other nights that you do a whole lot better. So we also don't say that you must do this, you must. No. Just make sure you do as much as you can with what you have.
Absolutely.
And the rest of the time, just try to do as good as possible. And sometimes if you need to do something at night, if you want to watch your episode of your favorite show, if you gotta take a spinning class, take it.
I mean, there's times that I'm working throughout the day, like, I have long days, and I said, well, I want to go home, I want to disconnect, hang out with Janet, chill out, and we want to watch like an episode or something, or watch a movie. The one thing that I might do, is that I actually dim down the brightness of the computer we're watching. We don't even have a TV set in the house. We don't want it, but we just dim it down a little bit, and the brightness of the screen will not affect you so much that your eyes are receiving a message that is daylight.
Yeah,
that already helps a little bit.
Let's cover up the naps, and we'll done with this episode. Yeah, what do you think about naps?
I think naps are great. As soon as I have a chance in the afternoon,
like a pro.
in between, my chores of the day, clients, the projects that we work on, stuff like that. If I have a chance to sleep, for half an hour, I'm there. If it's only 5 minutes, I'm there, because I noticed that it makes for the rest of the day after the nap a breeze almost.
Okay.
So it doesn't hinder my sleep in the evening too. So
what I find from my experience that some people like me don't really do well with naps unless I absolutely have to.
Right.
Yeah.